Hey everybody, what's going on? It's lunchtime. It's a little bit afternoon. So you know what time that is. It's time for lunchtime talk with Steve. So today we actually have a few different people that are scheduled to be on here. So let's see what happens. All right. Um, let's go ahead and share the link, share it with your friends, your relatives, with everyone, share it in your favorite group, all that good stuff. All right. Let's make this happen, and I'll be right back with you guys. Hey everybody, what's going on? Okay, we are back. Um, let's go ahead and bring in the one and only, the man himself, Gary.
Right.
What's up,
You
G
already
Mac?
know what's good with you, Steve.
Man, I see you got the shades on like it's really bright down there. I don't know,
Yes, sir. Early in the morning.
man.
What's good
Yeah,
with you, sir?
you know how it is. Trying to survive. Um,
Man, I was just
hey, question.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was watching the news, I think it was yesterday, right? And I'm
Uh,
talking about I was counting the days since Rayshard Brooks murder. I've been counting the days. Bro, it couldn't even a week couldn't pass. A week. We didn't even get to 7 days before another person murdered already. And
you
it's
know how
what
it
in
is, man.
California or somewhere. I'm like, bro, we couldn't 7 days. We couldn't even get a week, Steve, before another person did.
But I
Just that
mean,
bad. But this time it was a 18-year-old Spanish looking jit, but he looked
mhm,
black, but he was Spanish. 18-year-old
mhm.
security guard. And I'm talking about just killed, bro. I think they say he had a gun, whatever. He wasn't a registered owner, but I don't know all the facts of the cases. But I'm like, not even 7 days. And
But
now we got another.
you know what's so crazy though? All right. So now this is the time that we get the moment of truth, if you will. because now they're opening up. Like today, I believe it's in Michigan,
Right.
or one of those that is voting time today. Let's get out and vote.
Right.
That's what we need to do, man. I'm telling you, we need to get out and vote because the thing is, we have all these senators and congressmen and the district attorney or the state attorney, depends on where you live. They call them different.
Right.
But all these people we have to vote for because these are the ones making decisions to allow these things to continue to happen. So I'm
Yeah.
encouraging everybody, get out and vote. And if you're not
Right.
registered to vote yet, register to vote. It's not too late to register for the general election, for the election in November. But get out and vote. If you're already registered, get out and vote in these elections because these are the ones that really make a difference. I keep telling people, get out and vote. We can march all we want, but if you don't march to the polls, then you might as well stay home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it's counterproductive, but at the same token, Steve,
Hmm.
outside of how they already treat black people, then you have voter suppression. Look what they
Exactly.
did up in Georgia not too long ago, where people had to sit outside for like 4 hours, and plus you have to have social distancing
Hmm.
with that as well. So
Hmm.
imagine how far the lines go back if everybody is 6 feet apart. Imagine how long you have to wait in line just to be able to vote. If you're outside all day and it's hot outside, it's not even cold. So, people get frustrated. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's
because
like a
like,
lot of different dynamics to just voting. Um, and like I say, people are mad right now. It's not like they're in a good place where they're happy. They have all of this money. People are upset. And you know what they're really saying, bro? Like,
what's
if I
up?
go vote again, what's gonna happen? If I go vote, are the Russians gonna hack it and my vote didn't mean nothing? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like they don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to say get out and vote, but they don't know what the outcome gonna be. Are we gonna be hacked again? Did we get hacked last time?
Well,
So it's like those are questions people have.
and I understand those questions. I understand that. But here's the thing, though: if we don't vote, then we already know what the outcome is going to be. So we can't throw away a maybe for a definite. We're throwing away
Right,
a maybe they might hack it for definitely if you don't vote, the other guy is going to win.
right,
So we can't throw away a maybe for a definite. We got to get out there and vote. That's like saying, I'm hungry, but maybe if I go to McDonald's, the shake machine isn't up right now. Okay, but you're not going to know if the shake machine is up or not if you don't go to McDonald's, and you're not going to
right,
be able to eat or get anything to eat if you don't go to McDonald's. You have to
right,
you have to do it, and then if you get there, you say, "Oh, okay, well the machine is down or whatever," which we know the shake machine is always down at McDonald's. I don't
right,
understand how every McDonald's in America, I don't care where you live, if you guys live somewhere that the shake machine is working at McDonald's, let me know because
since the
everywhere you
pandemic,
go, huh?
since the pandemic, since
But
this started.
but it's always been like that. It's like you go to McDonald's and you want a shake and oh, I'm sorry, the shake machine's not working. Like what? I'm like, how is it that you sell shake and the shake machine's not working? That's like going to KFC and they don't have chicken. Come on.
Right,
It's like your biggest
right,
seller, or should be your biggest seller, especially in South Florida because it's hot. They said it's supposed to be like what? It's supposed to be like almost 105 today with the heat index. So it's gonna be
wow.
crazy today. Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm
Sharon
sitting up.
said Sharon was saying, if you don't want to stand in long lines, then sign up for vote by mail, which is true. You could vote by mail as well. So we could do that. We could do the vote by mail. There are different options, but we just got to vote. Early voting is
Right.
another one where early voting, you can vote at any precinct. You don't have to go to the one in your area, but we just got to vote.
So, so for the people that don't know how to vote by mail, say like the millennials or what have you, what do they have to do to be able to vote by mail?
They can go to their supervisor of election website and you can Google it. Whatever county you're in, you can do,
Uh-huh.
like here in Broward, we'll do Broward supervisor of election. And then when you get there, there'll be a link for you to sign up for vote by mail. They'll send you a sample ballot so you'll see what it looks like with all the instructions and everything. And then when the real time comes, they'll send you the actual ballot. But the important part is you've got to return it because a lot of people get it, they fill it out, and then it sits on the kitchen table. No, you got to return it. When your
What
mailman
type
is
of time
coming,
frame do they have to turn it in?
um, well, they start sending out the vote by mail ballot. I believe it's going to be. I don't remember exactly
Probably
when it
October.
comes out, but well, there's going to be one for the early voting as well. For not
Oh,
early
okay.
voting, but for like in Broward County, our local elections are going to be August 18th.
Right.
So you should get one coming out in July, and I believe you have like 2 to 3 weeks to return it in this one.
Okay.
But you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm going to see if I could get one of the people from the supervisor of elections office on the show. One that I had Ruth on here before, Ruth Carter Lynch. She's running for supervisor of election, but I want to try to get one of the people that's in the that works there to be able to
Right.
answer a lot of the questions too. But
Let me ask you.
yeah, sure, go
Let me
ahead.
ask you a question. How you feel about Biden, man? Every time I see Biden, I swear he just remind me of a dude that'll say anything to get the black vote. I don't know if he's really getting. I don't know. He just seemed like a shady dude, bro. Like I don't like him. I don't. I mean, we don't have really too much to deal with either him or Trump, but I don't know. Like I say, I like savages. I don't like
Yeah,
smoke blowers.
but this is the thing, though. I mean, like you said, you only have the two to choose from. So you got to go with the lesser of the two evils in that case, right? Because I mean, think about
Hey,
it. If you only got those two, I
Biden.
mean, you know.
Listen, Biden was responsible for that 94 crime bill. He was responsible for the mass incarcerations. He was with the foolery back then. Now he talking real good. I don't like it.
Well, you see, but the thing is too, and then you look at Trump, and Trump was all behind the Central Park Five and all these different things. But
He wasn't a
RO said
politician.
no. Anyone is better than Trump. But here's the thing too. I mean, one of the things we got to look at when it comes to politicians, and what I always encourage the politicians when I talk to them, get out and talk to the people, because a
Yeah,
lot of times what they do is they depend on statistics so much. Someone comes and drops something in front of them, and all they look at is the numbers. Well, the numbers don't show the full story,
right,
because just like Trump said the other day, the reason why it showed like there were more cases is because there were more testing. So he told his people to stop testing.
right,
That didn't mean people weren't sick. It just mean we didn't test them. So the
right,
numbers can show whatever I want them to show, and then they're gonna say, oh, the curve flattened. Of course, because you stopped testing. Now, if they're gonna say that the curve picked up again, of course, because now you're gonna start testing more. So of course you're gonna come back with more positives. So
right,
that shows that curve. You can make that curve look any way you want, just by slowing down the testing, increasing the testing. And then they were saying that in the beginning, that COVID wasn't affecting people in the black community. They didn't have any testing sites in the black community, so they weren't
right,
testing us. So if they
right.
don't test us, of course it doesn't show that it affects us. We weren't being tested.
Exactly.
You know, Patty said, let's not forget Biden contributed to exactly what it said, mass incarceration. And a lot of them did. A lot of them
They
did.
were. Dog, they still making money off of that. I bet him, along with all of his constituents, I bet the majority of them are profiting off of those prisons and off of those guys that they locked up since the 90s. The guys that are still there working for free, doing free labor, making cell phones, you name it. These guys are working, making hand over fist. I did an episode the other day, Steve, on my podcast
Hmm.
with the amount of companies that are profiting from free labor. And the guys that are going back and forth to prison, they don't know that Amendment 13 talks about them being a slave again. You know what I'm saying?
But
And they still don't get it. They line up to go to prison. They line up to shoot their friends. They line up to hurt their neighbors and people they grew up with.
mhm,
And everybody is so against slavery, but you're lining up to go to prison to be a
to be a
slave again.
slave, exactly.
I
But
don't get it.
and
I
the
don't
thing,
get it.
and the thing is too,
And-
like I tell people again, I mean, Biden and all these people voted a certain way because the people who supported them want them to vote that way. If you are a
Right,
politician, Gary, and I'm writing 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, $100,000 checks to your campaign, and I'm talking
right,
about over a period of time, because a lot of
right,
these, if you look at some of the, and that's another thing you guys can see on your supervisor of election website, you can see who donated to the campaigns. So like if you're for example the property appraiser, and we can talk about that. As a matter of fact, if you go on Broward County's website, you'll see the property appraiser, his campaign, he has like 100 and something $1,000. Most of that money came from people who want to build, from
right,
builders. So it's like it's almost like this guy controls the property value in a particular area, and the people that are donated to his campaign benefit from those property values that he set. It's kind of
right.
crazy, and that's what happens. So
And that's where
again,
you
we
get
have to get out.
redlining and those other things. That's where redlining comes. Right. They
So again,
control it.
we have to get out. But the thing is, we keep saying they control and they control, and yes, they do. But the problem is we have to put ourselves in position to control. We have to put ourselves, when we see politicians that we like, back them financially. $10, $20. And $10 may not be a lot, but if you had 100,000 people in America that donated, and just that's 100,000 now, we got 300 million. If you had 100,000 that donated just $20 to
Right.
a particular candidate, that candidate could actually win. With that amount of
Yeah.
money, he can pay for ads on TV. He can pay for flyers. Go volunteer. When you volunteer, you're actually doing a lot more. So we
Right.
can do a lot behind these candidates, but we just want to sit home and say, well, they control everything. They do, but power can be changed. It can be shifted.
Right.
You
And
know,
that's what I posted on my page earlier. I was making a comment. I said that, black people for so long, we've been marching and protesting for equal rights and equality. And I was
mhm,
saying white people, they're worried about equity. They're not protesting about equal rights. They have their rights. In the Constitution, it said we're 3/5 of a man. So they're not worried about the things that we're worried about. We're trying to get out of the hood. We're trying to get out of bad situations. Most of them are in good positions. They are in good situations to where they don't have to struggle as much as we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
mhm.
saying everything should be handed to us, but if you keep us down for so long, for so many years, it'll take us much longer to be able to get out of poverty. It'll take us much longer to be able to teach our kids a better way to live and not live the way dad lived or not come from the same neighborhoods and to live better. It's hard to teach your kids to think outside of the box when all you see is disparities, all you hear are gunshots, all you see is crime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
but
that's why people are talking about defunding the police departments everywhere. Put that money back in communities where it's deserved. Put that money in communities where they have programs like we used to have Beta back in the days. When we had Beta, kids were working. They were helping parents with their bills. We bought our own clothes. We didn't need our parents for a year or two to buy any of our clothes. We helped them with bills and bought our own clothes. And if we could have those type of programs, not just football and basketball, not that. I don't even care anything about that. I'm talking about
mhm.
real programs, real things, trades, things that neighborhoods need to survive. They building all type of stuff up in these neighborhoods, Steve, and
Mhm.
it's outsiders building it. It's a bunch of Spanish and Mexicans building. None of the residents that live in those neighborhoods are helping to build these buildings. I don't know if they have certifications or not, but if you offered them or asked them, hey, do any of you guys need to work? Or hey, we're hiring at this job site. If you offer things like that, I promise you crime will go down. And there wouldn't be as much conflict with the police as it is right now. It wouldn't be that because people have money in their pockets. They wouldn't
But
be complaining.
but going back to what you're saying, right? And I mean, and I agree with you 100%. But going back to what you're saying, the problem is that the people who are donating to the politicians are making money from the people going to jail. That's the issue. So that's why we got to replace these politicians, because if they're voting for stuff like this, then we need to replace them. We can't keep them in office. You can't keep them as governor, mayor, congressman, senator. You can't keep them in these positions. There's a reason why you have Geo Group and all these other companies making so much money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And when you look at it, they want to they will put the money into programs that they know aren't going to work, just so that
Right.
they can say, "Well, we tried."
We tried.
Now,
Right.
going back to another thing that you were saying about defunding. Now, my thing is, I think when we say defund the police, I think we have to be careful with saying that, because of course the people aren't going to defund the police. So right off the bat, we're already asking for something that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen.
Not
I mean, that's like,
dismantle, defund. Like just take instead of giving them 20 million, take
but that's what I'm
6 of
saying.
the 20 and put it in the neighborhood.
Right, but that's not what defund means. Defund just means take it away. So your congressman and your senator aren't going to take away that money from the police department. Now, I agree with you. BSO doesn't need tanks. What the hell? We got military for tanks. We don't need our police officer to have tanks. We have
Right.
tanks. Why do we
Yeah.
need tanks in Broward County?
Right.
It's like, what are we going to do? Get invaded by what? The sea turtles? I mean, come on.
But you never see them used in white neighborhoods though. Always in the hoods.
That's what I'm saying.
Always in black neighborhoods. You
They
never
have
see
no
those
problem.
used in Weston. And they be having standoffs, all type of stuff going on out there. And you don't see them
Yep.
using tanks.
They'll have a
Only in the black
8 hour
neighborhood.
standoff. They'll have an 8 hour standoff in a white community. Come on, Bobby. Come on. You don't have to do this. Come on, Bobby. Black people, no, they're ready to shoot as soon as it
They
happens.
ripping the door off the hinges. Yeah.
It's reality. They'll run the tank through your house. And
Yeah.
if people don't believe me, Google it or YouTube it, and you'll see the videos. That
I've
tank will
seen
go
it in real life.
That tank will go right
In
through
the
your
real
house.
life. Right.
But
It's no
the
joke.
thing is, we instead of asking to defund it, what we need to do is we need to ask for them to cut some of the programs. Because when you tell a person defund something, not forget it, I don't even want to hear it, and then they're done, because defunding is never going to happen. That's like,
Okay, instead of
that's
defund,
like,
they should allocate that money
there you go.
to certain programs.
Reallocate the
Okay,
funds.
we'll
That's
get rid of the word defund. That instead of giving Hallandale, for example, 20 million, 6 million of those dollars should be allocated towards programs and things like that. I'll use that
Exactly.
word.
That's
I
what we
say
need
that.
to say. We need them to reallocate some of the funds, because that's what should be happening. But instead, when they say defund, you already lost them at defund. You know, we're not getting rid of the police. We need it. And then the first thing that they come back with is, okay, so if we defund the police and get rid of the police force, who are you going to call when somebody's breaking into your house?
Right.
So we don't want to defund the police. We just want to reallocate some of the funds. The police athletic league, the DARE program, different things that we could bring back that were keeping the kids out of trouble. You know,
Right.
there's so much that we can bring back that we can do. But again, it goes back to the same thing. The people that are making the money off of it,
They're making
don't want
money in
those programs.
prison.
They don't
Yeah.
want those programs.
Right.
So that's why we got to
Right.
get rid of the politicians that don't want those programs in there, or vote not to get those programs. Vote them out.
And that's not just lobbyists are politicians too, but those
Yeah.
sneaky guys, they're responsible for a lot of the stuff that go on. They're responsible for a lot of those guns in the 80s and drugs coming through the black neighborhoods when they had the Iran Contra and things like that.
Mhm.
But with that, if the lobbyists went and they said, just say for example, if like this group, ALEC, have you ever heard of ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council?
I've heard of it, but I've never. Is that the one that they have those secret meetings?
Yeah, a lot of the top politicians
CEOs
are
and
involved
stuff
in
like-
there, but they're
Yeah.
responsible for a lot of the laws that are passed and the SB 1070 and a lot of those different laws that are passed. They're direct responsible for it, and they're with CCA. CCA is the Corrections Corporation of America.
Mm-hmm.
Correction Corporation of America. They
Mhm.
let you know off the rip, it's a big business.
It
And
is a
for
business.
some reason, it seemed like black people love that place. We love, I don't know, we're making them billions of dollars, each of these companies every year. The telephone company, JPay, all of these companies are getting billions of dollars every year off of us. And it's particularly our black women. The
That are
men
paying.
inside, your homies ain't sending you no money. Your homies
Exactly.
ain't driving no 5-6 hours to see you. It's the girlfriend, the mothers, the aunties, the wives, the fiancés, the sisters. It's them, the daughters coming and sending that money every week,
And
every
what
month.
people don't realize is every time they send money, right off the bat, they getting the percentage of that money.
Yeah,
The phone calls, those phone calls are like what, $2, $3 a minute. I mean, come on,
probably more than that. Yeah,
that's worse than the porn calls back in the day, the 976.
right,
Remember the
right. But
976
Cleo,
numbers? But
more than a
Sharon,
Cleo call.
for real. But Sharon was saying, we should also fight for education, which is also a big thing, because it's true. If you call a parent and say your kids aren't doing well in school, a lot of times you're not going to get a reply from the parent. But then when you say you're taking away recess or you're taking away something, all of a sudden everybody's in an uproar. And I've said this many times before. You have a PTA meeting or a SAC or a SAF meeting, and you can hold that meeting in the bathroom because it's so small. But
Right,
um, but
right,
then when it's time for the football game, hell, you don't have enough room for the football game. You could, and on top of that, the PTA and SAC and SAF meetings are free. But the
mhm,
football game, they're charging, some of these schools are charging $5, $10, whatever, and food and parking and everything, and still you
right,
don't have enough room. So it's
right,
what we put the importance in. When we start to put the importance in educating our children, we're going to see a better generation. We have to put the importance in there. We have to let people know. It's crazy. We have
right.
our children aren't looking at education because we're not. Your kid
And
comes and
Steve,
tells you, huh?
another thing too, um, parents are for some reason, particularly black parents, they're under the impression that the school are supposed to raise their kids.
Hmm,
The kids are only there for a few hours. When they get out of school, the rest is on us. The rest is on us what we teach them outside of school or what we show them in our neighborhoods about
exactly.
helping, being nice. The rest of that's on us. We can't expect the school to teach them everything. You know what I'm saying? They can't raise our kids for us.
Exactly. And the crazy part
That's
is
what we feeling at.
we already taught them a lot before they go to school. And that's what we have
Yeah.
to start to look at. We have to start to look at how much do we teach them about value and education. Because
Hmm.
when you have a 4 or 5 year old kid that doesn't even know their alphabet, the parents already failed them at home. When
Yeah.
you have a 4 or 5 year old kid that can't count to 10, the parent failed them at home. And then they're going to put them in a classroom and then they're going to say, okay, well, there you go. Go ahead, teach my kid. Well, you already taught your kid not to want to learn. And now you want to
Right.
bring your kid here for the teacher to try to change their mindset and teach them and hold back the other 15 or 20 in the classroom because, your little kid, little Johnny, doesn't know how to count. I mean, I honestly, I feel like, and it's not just the black community I'm talking about because I've seen this with all kind of kids. So I feel like what we have to do as parents and as a society and on a whole, we have to also look at what part we play in this. We can't just keep saying the schools need to do this, the schools need to do that. The schools do need to do it, but no, that's not always going to be the case. Um, yeah, Julia said, and education is also at home true. Um, Patty said, homeschool is best, especially for our young kings. You know what? Homeschool is not always in every situation. I'll tell you. I've seen
Right.
some. I've seen some kids that were homeschooled, and yes, they excel. They go like way above and beyond. And then socially, they're lacking
Right.
because they don't have the social interaction. But it also depends on the parent because if you can teach your child and you have the time, the resources, and everything to teach your child, then that's great. But honestly, I'm not a proponent for homeschool, but I mean, to each their own. And there are a lot of people that like it. I just,
Yeah, definitely not homeschooling. But if you look at the new normal, Steve, where we
yeah,
are right now, that's what the kids are going to be doing. They're going to be homeschooling. And now just imagine how frustrating it's going to be for the child because they don't have a teacher not micromanaging them, but they don't have the immediate help. If your mom or
exactly.
dad is at work, now you frustrated as hell because you don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't have any guidance. You don't have anyone helping you. So they're gonna throw that book to the side or that laptop to the side, and they're not gonna do anything that day, and
And
they're
not
gonna
only
keep
that,
failing.
but when you look at it, I mean, like just like the show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? It's not
Right,
that you're not smarter than a fifth grader. It's just that you haven't seen that work in 30 years, 40
right.
years. But the thing is, when you think about it, work changed a lot. And if people don't believe me, look up lattice or anything. The way that they do math now, the lattice, the way they do it, that thing is so confusing. I'm like, really? I know teachers that have trouble with that crap because it's like, and that's crap. That's what it is. I'm gonna look it up and show you guys in a second if you guys don't believe.
Yeah, look how many kids failed and dropped out of school because they couldn't pass the FCAT test because of the
Exactly.
language, because of how the language was worded. They didn't understand it. These kids are not hearing these words at home. They don't know some of this stuff. They only know what they hear in the neighborhoods. They do hear some things at school, but the language was written, and I've read it, I've seen it. Yeah, it's confusing to them because I know they don't know these things.
It's very confusing because I mean it's just like, and people that don't believe it, again, all they got to do is think of it like this way: when the kids are talking, we don't know what the hell they're saying.
All
We
right.
don't understand their slang. We don't know all that stuff. Yes, they're speaking English, but because of the way they use the words, we don't know what they're saying. So it's the same
Everything is
thing.
shorthand.
So it's the same thing when the kids hear people talking about different things. To them, it's like using slang. It's like, what the hell are you
Right,
talking about? What, they don't understand because they've never heard those words the same way we've
right.
never heard those words. I'm gonna show you the lattice right now, and I don't know if you've seen this before because this is something that they started doing in math recently. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
All right, now watch this now. Where am I? Where am I?
Who are they teaching this to?
This is elementary math.
Elementary.
Yeah, look. So what they're gonna do is, you know what? Let me do this. Hold on. I'm gonna put it back again with the sound so you can hear the sound as well. All right.
All right.
Um, let's see. And the teachers out there would be able to tell me, if this is something that, you know. Let's see. All right. So let's start it back. Tell me if you can hear the sound.
Hello everybody, today I'm going to do lattice multiplication. So, suppose you have a problem such as 25 times 13. You need to figure it out, but you don't have a way. So then you could use lattice. So first you have to see how many digits are in 25. 2. So you have to have room on the top for 2 digits. Then you see how many digits are in the second number. There are 2. So then you have to have room for 2 digits on the side. And then you just do it on this side and then you connect the box. It comes out to be a rectangle. And then since there are 2 digits here, you have to have
Gary, you already look confused.
2 columns. And then since there are 2
Like, why she just didn't solve the problem?
rows. Now we're almost set. We need to put the number 25 up here, and it has to match. And then you have to put 13 right here. It has to match this way. Now we're really almost done. Forming the
We would have been done a long time
problem.
ago.
We need to split the boxes in 2 parts diagonally. So you do that.
That is too much, bro.
Now we're done. We can start solving. So first you do 5 times 1. That's 5. So you put 0 right here and 5. You do 5 times 3. That's 15. So 1 and then 5.
Are you
Then
smarter
you
than a
do
fifth
2
grader?
times 1. That's 2. And then you do 3 times 2. That's 6. Now we're done doing the multiplication part. Now we have to do addition. So first we have to add diagonally. So first we add 5. 5, there's no other number here. So we just do 5. Next
That
we
take
come
too
here.
long.
There's 5, 1, and 6. So first we do 5 plus 1, that's 6. And 6 plus 6 is 12. So you put the 2 here, and then you carry the 1 in this column. So I put the 1 right there. Now I do 1 plus 2, that's 3, and that's a 0. So that's just 3. And now that's 0, so you have to put it there. Now, this is our answer. 325. There are no commas in this answer, so this is the final answer. Thanks for watching. Bye.
What you just said? That was And you mean to tell me in school they want them kids to break it down just like that?
So now when your child is doing from home or whatever, and and your child goes, Dad, can you teach? Can you help me out with my multiplication? And that was, notice now, that was only 2-digit multiplication or 4-digit multiplication, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Now, what about if you're multiplying longer numbers?
But I'm saying, why not just do the math? Why I'm lost. Why do they have to add the lines and the triangles, and why do they have to do all of that?
That's
Why
what
not
I'm
just
saying. That's what I'm saying. It's a total different ball game. So now when we start talking about teaching our kids, and we're teaching them the old way, the way that things were done back in our day, and the teacher's asking them to show the work, but that's not the way that they want to see the work. Then what?
wow? So you using a calculator, that's done. They like, hey, this person, the way she was just doing it, she wasn't using a calculator. She just broke it down that way. But we're so used to the calculator, or if you know how to do it on your own, then you can do it on your own. But to draw lines and add zeros here, or 1 there, or 5 over here, that's confusing. That was confusing for me. And I'm 45.
And that's Tika said that's a headache.
Yeah, I already had the answer, but I'm like, why does she have to go through all of these steps just to get the same answer?
Oh, okay. Sharon said we don't use that anymore. We use distributive property and explain the property. So let me Google that and see what the distributive
What's
property is.
distributive property?
I have no idea. So we
And
will find out.
expanded property. What is that? What is that, Sharon?
Let me see what that comes out to be.
Jesus Christ. Now, how could these kids even remember these words? They couldn't even go home and pronounce distributive property to their parents, even if they needed help.
Okay, so I'm looking for one now.
Welcome back, everyone.
All right, let me go ahead and share this one, and let's look at this and see. This is fun. I'll tell you, I'm enjoying this. I am enjoying this. All right, so let's hear what this guy is saying now.
Everyone, thanks for joining us on this lesson on applying the distributive property. But before we even talk about that, let's talk about sushi.
What?
Oh my God, that's good. And I kind of want one. So now as we continue our journey of exploring the distributive property, let's ask the question, what about numbers? How does it apply? So if we had the example 3 multiplied by the sum of 8 and 2, in parentheses here. Now, we know that 8 plus 2 is equal to 10, and we know that 3 multiplied by 10 is just equal to 30, and that was pretty simple. So knowing that product equals
I'm pretty sure he's going to complicate
we're going
it.
to keep in our back pocket for the moment. Let's return back to started having 3 being multiplied by the sum of 8 and 2. Here's how distributing works. We take the value outside of the parentheses, in this case 3, and first we multiply it by the first term in parentheses, 3 times 8. Then our next symbol is a plus sign, so we're just going to keep that going, keep the plus sign there. And then we're going to distribute that 3 by the second item in the parentheses, in this case 3 times 2. Now continuing on, we know that 3 times 8 is just equal to 24. And we know that 3 times 2 is equal to 6. And now 24 plus 6, if we add those two values together, of course, equals 30. We get the same answer.
Okay, so I still have a question.
So
What
for
was
that
wrong with the old
simple-
one? What was wrong with the
Right.
old one doing it? Because
Right.
I mean, even in his example, he came up with the answer way quicker the first time using the regular way than
Right.
than the second one.
Looping, right.
Sharon said
That's
that's why we have to use the language that's in the test. And Patty was saying in India, where tons of doctors come from, they do math monkey style. I don't know what math monkey is, and they're winning.
Never heard of that monkey.
I still go back to, again, when our kids are young, when they're home, we have to start teaching them to like learning, because then it's a challenge on the teachers when the teachers are trying to help them, and like for example, with my daughter, when she was younger, we go to Publix and you're picking up groceries or whatever, you're going through it. Okay, we're gonna pick up the yellow banana.
Right.
Okay, now she knows a banana is yellow. And what does banana begin with? It begins with B. B for banana. Okay, great. Now she's putting that together. And this is all fun stuff in Publix, and it helps to keep the kids quiet. Now, if you want to start teaching them math, we're picking up 4 yellow bananas. And then you say, okay, but if we don't want all of these and we put back 1 yellow banana, what do we have? We have 4 minus 1 is, and then she counts 1, 2, 3 yellow bananas. So 4 minus 1 is 3. And we're going on and stuff like that. And you're teaching her to love math. And then when she gets to school and the teacher's talking, she's enjoying it because she learned to love it at Publix and different things. But when we're not doing it and all we're doing is having our children, dance or sing or whatever, every kid's not going to be Beyonce and every kid's not going to be Jay-Z. Every boy is not going to be a football player and every boy is not going to be a basketball or a baseball player. All right. We need to start teaching our children to not just be the player, but be the manager for that player, the agent for that player, because those are the ones who make the money, the owner of the team, because those are the ones who make the money, And Sharon said, the thought is that everyone learns different, so give them different methods to solve the problem. Yeah, give them different methods, but that right there seems to be a more confusing method. Because, okay, so using the same thing, Sharon, so on the test, do they give you more than one different way to use that to do it? Because you're saying that you use the language that's on the test. So if people have different ways of learning, then there should be more than one way of language to be able, or even if a person has
you got to break it down in layman's terms.
Right. So, because if a person has an IEP, then you can get someone to read it to your child and break it down for them and stuff like that, which is another thing.
Just like she just says, the language, right?
Right.
Now, just say if I was 3rd, 4th grade and I'm not used to these words, and here it is, I'm sitting down and they give me the answer and they say, hey, the answer is 30, but is it a distributive property or an what if they don't even know these words? You know what I'm saying, Steve? What if they be goofing off in class? What if these words flying over their head? Their parents not using them at home, so they definitely not going to hear it at the house. The only time they will hear it is at school. That's the only time they will hear that word the most. So,
and that takes us to another thing too. We have to step up our vocabulary at home. We cannot expect them to just because like I tell people all the time, and again, because I do a lot with the schools and the school board and different things. One of the things that we have to do is let our children see us read. Even if you're not reading that book or that newspaper, pick it up once in a while. Let your children see. Because your son likes baseball because you like baseball, or he likes football because you like football. You know, your
The
daughter
pressure.
might like the people like things because they see their parents doing it. Well, let's teach them to like reading. Let's teach them to
Right.
like learning because we want them to see us doing it. We have to definitely we got to step up our game, step up our vocabulary. You know, and like I said the other day, my daughter just turned 18. When my daughter turned 18, the first thing she did on her birthday was register to vote because I've always taken her with me to vote. I've always
Right.
taken her with to NAACP meetings, to
Right.
all these different things. So she got into president of Key Club in high school. All these different things she was doing because these are things that she learned from young, and not because I was drilling it in her head, but just because she came
Right.
to meetings and she saw the difference that these things make. She wanted to make a difference too. So, as parents, we have to step up our game in
Yeah.
order for us to allow our children to step up their game.
Yeah, because the kids running the asylum, the kids
Yeah.
running the house. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really the parents. They telling the parents what to do and what they're not gonna do. And I ain't going to school today and all of that. Like then you hit them, you go to jail. So it's like
Hmm.
damn if you do, damn if you don't. So
You know.
um,
My dad used to say, he used to say, "Go ahead and call the police. I could kill you before they get here."
especially and you can live with them, but go live with them. Go live with them.
You know,
See how
that
they
was
treat
thing
you.
too. His famous line used to be, "Give your soul to God and your ass to me," because he used to pull that belt. He was a correction officer down here too, and he used to pull that belt. You know, the correction officers use that big belt, and he
Yeah,
had
that's
no
big.
fear in using that belt. That belt is like, if y'all don't know, next time you see a police officer or a correction officer, ask him to see that belt.
Right.
And we turned out good. So do I
Right.
think that that spanking is abuse? Spanking is not abuse. It depends on the way you do it. If you take
Right.
an electric cord and tie up your kid and beat him,
Benji.
of course, that's
Right.
abuse. You should
Right.
go to jail. You
Right.
should go to jail for something like that. But
Right.
my kid and I were not on the same level, and there's no way I'm going to be begging my kid to do something. Please don't
What?
do that. Come on, please. No, no, that's not me. We're not on the same level.
Right.
Mm, no.
Period. At all.
Julia said we set the example, which is true. We do. So we have to make sure that the example that we're setting for our children, we want to show them how we want them to be in the future. So if
Right.
all we're doing is laying on the couch and chilling when we get home from work or whatever, now don't get me wrong. Okay, hard work is good, but what do you do after that? Because we got to show them. We have to show them so much more. We have
Hmm.
to show them how to spend their time wisely, how to get involved in different organizations, whether it's the
Right.
Kiwanis Club, because the Kiwanis Club is a really good organization that people really need to look into. The Rotary Club, all these different clubs that you could get into, and there's a lot that we can do. We have to show our kids.
Yeah.
And,
Definitely got to lead by example. And like I said, they when they were doing those mass incarcerations, they knew what they were doing. If you get rid of the father out of the equation, it's only the woman left. The kid's gonna run the house the daughter's gonna run the house when the mom's absent. It's coming to fruition. Like you could see it. Just look around, and there's not too many strong black men leading the houses no more. Women running the house. They they got that. They have a place in history where men have failed everybody miserably, especially particularly black men. We most of us have failed our black women and in and out of jail, and we expect them to hold the pieces together and to hold the family together. There's only so much they can do. So we definitely need all men to step up and stay out here, be in your kids' lives, and be around them. You know what I'm saying? Mold them into greatness. If you're not around, somebody else is going to teach their ideologies, or somebody else is going to teach them some stuff that might not be conducive to being great. It might not be in the direction that you wanted your kids to go in. But if you're absent and you're not there,
mhm.
who else is going to teach them? The system,
Exactly.
HRS, DCF, like who going to teach them?
And just like I was talking about last week, on there when we had Felix and we had a couple police officers on here, and one of the things that we were talking about was the money is there, but
Right.
only after your child gets in trouble. Then we have all these programs for your child, but there's no program to stop your child from getting in trouble. And please don't
The
say the
first.
Boys and Girls Club and stuff like that, because I know people are going to send me messages and say, oh, but the Boys and Girls Club, the Boys and Girls Club is the warehouse for children. And I say
Right.
that, and trust me, I know people are going to say, oh, but what if, no, 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 listen to me. Your kid can walk in and out of that place at any time they want. They go across the street to the little corner store and buy the juices or whatever and walk back in, and nobody ever asked them a question. All right.
Wow.
So you want a place that's going to help your children to do the things that they need to do, to
Right.
help them with their homework and all these different things. Don't just throw your kid in somewhere, a warehouse, and just say, oh, okay, well, we have them in an after school program. You want an after school program that's going to teach your child. You want an after school program that's going to make your child a better person. You don't want a
Yeah, I'm not
program
sure about the other Boys and Girls Club, Steve, but the one right here in West Park, that the one, my two daughters, my last two daughters, their mom, she's a program director. She runs that particular place in West
but
Park.
that's why.
Yeah, she run that place in West Park, but nah, they got some really good programs. They take the kids around. I forgot the name of it, to where, like, not construction sites, but they put on hard hats. I forgot the name of the program, but they take them there. Like, if you want to be into construction or what have you, electrical. I forgot the name of the place, but it's a site that people know what I'm talking about.
You're talking about Jay Bizworld, Jay Bizworld, I think it's
Right,
called.
right.
But they only
They
do that
have
like
that.
once a year. They do that like once a year. They don't do that all the
Right.
time. But my thing is the rest of
They
the
have
time
a bunch
when
of
they're,
programs though.
but the
I
rest of the
can't say
time when
that.
they're there, the rest of the time when they're there, and I'm not saying that they should be in a jail that you tell them they can't leave or whatever, but there should
Right.
be things to keep them engaged while they're there and things to help them to get a little bit to teach them some stuff. Back in when I was in school, when I was in high school, we had junior achievement, we had future business leaders of America, we had all these different things that taught you how to
Right.
start and run a business, how to write a check, how to balance a checkbook, how to do all these things. So these programs are no longer there. These are the programs we need to come back because we have to start teaching them. And yes, a lot of them have basketball and stuff like that. But again, back to the same thing. Everyone's not going to be LeBron.
I don't care about the basketball. I care about the academics.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So we need people that can help them with their homework, people that can help them with different things. Because if the parent at home can't help them, then there should be somewhere that they can go to help them. We have after school programs at school, but again, we have to just get more involved because there's some programs out there that we think do what we want them to do, but they really don't. So we really
have a
have to
bunch
start looking at the programs we're putting our kids into.
They have a bunch of things. I be seeing people posting tutors and all type of stuff, but I don't see any other parents taking advantage of it. They post them on Facebook, Instagram. Hey, if your child needs help with math, I'm a tutor. Da 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 da. It's a bunch of teachers right now out of work for this summer. Like no work at all, no income coming in. They could be making money tutoring, but who wants their child to learn? You know what their child doing right now? Wanting to play video games,
That's
go to
what
the
I'm
beach
saying.
and play. That's why I
And
say
then,
this whole Corona thing is like a setup for kids not to go to school, for them not to do work. They're gonna sit at home, Steve. If school start back in August, these kids not gonna be doing no school work. They're not gonna be on there faithfully every day because no one's on top of them. The
listen,
mama at work.
right now, these kids already lost a lot of what they learned during the school year because the last 2 months, a lot of them didn't do what they were supposed to do. And
Yeah.
you already had the summer slide, which is where when kids go back into school in August, because for those of you who live in different states or different countries, in Broward County, they go back in August. I know New York, you go back in September, but hey, but the
I gotta get out of here, Steve. I gotta
yeah,
wrap it up. I get with kids. Make sure y'all check out this book, Pillar to Post, in stores now. Y'all stay tuned for my second book, The New Man, Role Reversal, The Rise of Feminism and the Fall of Masculinity. That's my second book. Stay tuned. It should be out within the next few months. The photo shoot, everything done. I'm just waiting for one or two more things and it'll be out. But people really love this one. And I'm working on part 2 right now. I'm almost finished. Pillar to Post 2 will be out soon as well. But
we're
y'all
gonna
stay
have you
tuned.
back on the show when that comes out. We're gonna have you back on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Steve.
All
Appreciate
right.
you. Thanks for having me. Y'all be
Thank
safe
you.
out there.
Thanks, Gary. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Steve.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
And you guys could get Gary's book on my website, lunchtimetalkwithsteve.com. You know, just click on the advertiser part, and you'll be able to order the book directly from the link on Amazon. All right. All right. Oh, I forgot to mention Curvins too. This guy right here, if you need to get your car detailed, no matter where in Broward County you are, he'll come to you. All right. He just detailed mine for me, inside and out. The thing looks like a brand new car. I tell you, it looks brand new. This guy, I'm gonna post some pictures on there so you guys can see. But yes, and he's a young black man. Just started his business not long ago. About a year now he started his business, but he's always had that entrepreneurial spirit. And this guy right here is the one that you need to call. All right. We always say Black Lives Matter. We want to support black business. Here's your chance. You get your car detailed, you get it clean, you get it washed, whatever. Call up Curvin. Give him a chance. He has competitive prices. His prices are actually lower than most of the other places that I've been to. So give him a call. That's his number right there. All right. Now Sharon was saying they still have junior achievement. Yes, and I know we still do have it in some schools. We need to have it in more, and we need to have it in the areas. A lot of the schools that actually, and I'm not saying that could benefit, because every school can benefit from it, and every child can benefit from it. But anyhow, we're coming up on that hour, so it's time for me to. I started late, so that's why I'm saying coming up on the hour. I know it's 11 minutes past the hour, but I gotta run. I want to thank Gary again for being on the show. You know, check out Curvin, see what's going on. If your car needs cleaning, we all know where our cars need cleaning. If the seats, oh, that was one of the problems with mine too, the seat, because I always put my water bottle in the seat, and then the water bottle, even just because it sweats, it creates a stain on the seat. So I had to get that done. So I called him up. He did the seats. He did the headliner. He did everything. I'm telling you, give him a call. Get a quote for your car. Text him or call him, either one right now, 954-459-8507. All right, guys. All right, time for me to head out of here. Again, as always, do a random act of kindness for a stranger. If you see a person out there that needs something done and that person doesn't have a vehicle, if they want to get to the food line, whatever, go ahead and give them a call, or help them out. Say, hey, what do you need? Let me see what I can do for you. If you don't want to pick them up in your car and take them there, pick up the food and bring it to them. Either way, all right. Pick up the phone and call a friend that you haven't heard from in a long time. Believe me, you don't know what their situation is until you call them. You don't know. Maybe they could help you. Maybe you could help them. Either way, pick up the phone and call. As always, do a random act of kindness for a stranger. All right. And let's try to be a little bit different. Let's try to do things a little bit different. We can't keep blaming the schools and the teachers and everyone for what's going on with our kids. We have to start taking responsibility. I'm just saying, if your kid is yelling and screaming and cursing at you, imagine what he's doing to the teacher at school. It's not like he respects them more than he respects you. He's not going to curse you out and throw things at you and slam the door and then go to school and be the most respectful person in the world. No, you're just training them at home to be disrespectful to people outside. You need to get your house in order before you can start blaming other people outside, all right? I'm just saying. All right, people, as always, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Peace, people.
La